missing in action for most of April. I apologize. Combination of health issues and just being very, very busy. So, here's your first card. I have the Hermit. I have the High Priest. I have a Five of Cups reversed. Very interesting. These three cards are from your past. I have a Knight of Wands. I have a King of Cups. This is a Knight of Pentacles. It's been showing up a lot here. This is the shadow side. I have a Knight of Swords reversed. And then I have the Sun. Okay, so very interesting. We have combinations of swords, cups, pentacles, and wands. You also seem to have four major arcana cards here. So you have the Hermit and the High Priest. Now the Hermit and High Priest are both very complementary to each other. You have this theme of robes here, the ceremony, but it's also about usually people who, the symbolism of the robes is that it's usually worn by people who are very spiritual, and because they're both major arcana, they both kind of overlap, because the Hermit is more of an introspection, a spiritual looking for guidance and wisdom, and that's an inner energy. The High Priest is more of an outer energy. You act on your faith, you act on your beliefs, you act on your tradition and your faith. So in a way, I kind of get the feeling, Leo, some of you might have been hibernating. It might have been a very quiet, slow time as far as your relationships, even if you are in one, long-term or short-term. It feels from the past energy. Things have been pretty quiet. You have a Five of Cups reversed. That Five of Cups reversed is sometimes, if we have one of these very introspective spiritual energies here, sometimes when we're reflecting and thinking about where we went wrong in a relationship, that Five of Cups reversed can mean that we're focusing or obsessing too much on what we might have lost. Some of you Leos, as extroverted and engaging as you are, sometimes you do have those quiet moments or disappointing events in your relationships where you take a step back and you just want to be alone, and we try to work through our feelings. But you need to take care here. When we have that Five of Cups, usually this is the card of feeling sorry for yourself. Sometimes this is about a little bit of depression, and because the loss really hits you hard, you're kind of like pulling away and you're not engaging and you're not. So this is all the water energy here. And you also have a King of Cups here in your center, which is about being emotionally in charge here. So I feel like some of you Leos are healing and trying to get back in the saddle, so to speak. So when we come here to that Knight of Wands, this is very important. Not only because this is fire energy, usually a Knight of Wands, you're looking at, it's associated with Sagittarius, but it's still a fire energy. This is about knights taking action. So I kind of feel that from the past, you're in this very slow period, a little bit of depression. But here in the next three cards, you start to pull out of it. So the Knight of Wands, it's about adventure and enthusiasm and making a bold move. And because this King of Cups is here in the center, some of you Leos might be making a bold move in regards to love. This Nine of Pentacles is all about the good life, having a good time. And it can even mean an active dating life, or it can even mean getting back together with someone, okay? Or some of you might have been pulling away from a relationship and you're getting back into the groove of things, okay? Maybe some of you are having a sit down with an ex-partner and trying to work things out. But I kind of feel like you were in your shell and then here you're coming out of your shell. Someone's pulling you out of your shell, actually. This King of Cups could be someone else's energy or a person of interest. So when we get here to the future, it gets really interesting here because you have this contrast between the shadow side, which is about battling negative energies and dark forces. Sometimes it's about confronting your own demons. Now in Wicca, there's not necessarily a belief in the devil, but the shadow side is simply referring to those dark aspects of our nature. Those fears and negative patterns that keep showing up in our relationship. And you'll see this Knight of Swords reversed, which is interesting because it does provide a contrast to this Knight. When a Knight of Swords is reversed, it could be indicating paranoia and fears and insecurities. Sometimes when a Knight of Swords is reversed, it can mean someone acting very ugly and manipulative. And whenever swords kind of get reversed, because swords by nature are sometimes the most depressing cards in the tarot, the element of swords, because usually it's the psychological energy, anything that we're afraid of, anything we're insecure about. Sometimes this is about communication and honesty and truth. So when this Knight of Swords is reversed, I feel like this is telling me a lot about what's going on in the shadow side. Confronting pain, confronting hurt. And I feel like maybe this is an evolution going on here. You're pulling out of a very painful situation. But then after this little conflict or confrontation with negative energies or disagreements with someone, then you come into the Sun, which is sort of like a card that's positive in a way that will tell you or reassure you in tarot that everything's going to be okay. You have every reason to have hope and optimism. And I feel like that's where I see this, that there's a relationship that might have been dragging you down, and some of you Leos are getting back into your fiery element of happiness and joy. You know, just getting out there, being around people. Okay, so I'm going to shuffle for the outcome card. And you have a Two of Pentacles, which is very interesting. The Pentacles is about being very busy and juggling. And I feel like the story that's being told to me here for some of you Leos is very quiet, introspective time, a time for healing, but it's more about pulling out of this funk or depression in a relationship or a big obstacle. As we head into the present, things start to pick up. You start to get into your more hopeful, optimistic, extroverted nature. And then there seems to be a confrontation. You have a sit down with someone, Maybe you tell someone I'm ready to walk out the door. I'm not tolerating this anymore. Maybe there's a person with this energy of Knight of Swords reversed. Maybe some of you are confronting someone who has been sort of a lying, cheating, partner, and you're kind of sick of it. But whatever's happening here with this confrontation, you're coming out of it. And sometimes this Two of Pentacles, it can mean a lack of commitment. It can mean, I can't commit right now. I'm just going to see other people. And I feel like this is more your energy. I feel like you're like, I don't have time for this. When you decide to get it together, come find me. But I also feel like some of you Leos, because you do tend to be very self-assured, some of you might decide, I'm going to not limit my options and see other people. But in general, when I look at this card, this Two of Pentacles and the Outcome card, yes, I do see some of you sort of pulling away a little bit. You're getting out there. I feel like that maybe some of you are getting closure here with the shadow side and the Knight of Swords reversed, and you're coming into the Sun. You've resolved issues and you know where it is you want to go. So some of you might actually be transitioning to a new relationship, leaving one relationship behind and going to a new relationship, or just going out and seeing other people. So there's no reason to see this card as necessarily negative, because you have the Sun here saying all of these changes and issues and conflicts you've been going through, they happen for a reason. And in the end, you're going to find you're happy again, and you're going to be back on your feet as far as love and romance, whether it's a conflict that needs to be resolved with someone else, or whether you are about to meet someone new. So that was your reading, Leo, and I want to thank everyone for your wishes, for emailing me. Some of you were concerned because I did not do videos for April, so I apologize. So thank you so much for your patience. I appreciate it. It's good to be missed, and it's also it's even better being appreciated. So thank you so much. I hope the spring weather has been kind to you. And just to give you a heads up, I will have to severely limit my reading time. I'm going to be available only from Friday evenings to Saturday evenings. So I'm just trying to find a sweet spot in my schedule to where I can be available for readings and not have to keep rescheduling. Okay, so thank you to everyone who's been very understanding. Thank you so much. I wish you love and light.